Hi guys, welcome back to another video of the Southern Scouser. A couple of games to talk about today, one good, one bad. We'll get straight into it. First match was the Leicester Premier League game, who we were looking at obviously turning the corner after a couple of league defeats and trying to avoid 3 defeats in a row. It was going really well for about 70-75 minutes. 1-0 up, early days. Firmino had a good chance, Schmeichel making a good save. Kabak did actually have a slip as well, with Vardy going through and hitting the bar, which was a big let off. Trent did then hit a free kick off the bar in the second half, and as I say, we did make the breakthrough. Firmino with a lovely piece of skill after a good run down the right from Trent, laid it off to Salah, a little bit similar to the Newcastle game at Anfield last season. It might have even been the season before, when Firmino did a couple sort of like a back heel turn, touch with both feet off to Salah. So it was very similar, but Salah, instead of running beyond Firmino, it was laid back to him and curled it with his left foot into that far corner beyond Kasper Schmeichel, who up to that point had a really good game, and wasn't much he could do with that goal either. So yeah, we looked really strong, 1-0 up with 15 minutes left, and you're thinking, hello, here we go. You know, we've off the back of 2 good away wins at Spurs and West Ham. Struggled at home recently, but you think, okay, we're on our way to a victory. But no, it all kind of went wrong when there was a chance on the left-hand side for Leicester. Was it a free kick? Was it a pen? It was a really close call. After VAR decided it was just a free kick. Liverpool didn't really organise themselves. Maddison took the free kick, and it basically just went straight in. I don't think it was a shot because it was quite low. It did look like a cross, but it did find its way into the bottom corner. VAR did check again, just to see if there was any offside. And looking at it, they sort of measuring the Leicester striker, the Leicester attacker's kind of body position, and they're kind of measuring it against another Leicester body part. So they're kind of comparing Leicester with Leicester rather than Liverpool deepest defender. And obviously they say it's onside, and they give the goal, which I think there was a sense of injustice about the whole event, and Liverpool didn't really get their heads back on, because straight away there was a ball over the top. Kabak making his debut for Liverpool. Up to that point, it looked steady, and Alisson absolutely, he comes out of nowhere, does not need to be anywhere near the ball. It's not even in the penalty area. Kabak's got it covered, and just totally comes out, misses and swipes for the ball, piles into Kabak. They both fall over, flying, and Vardy walks it in. You're left sitting there kind of scratching your head, wiping your eyes as this just happened. We're now 2-1 down in a game where we were 5-10 minutes away from winning the match. It basically carried on in that fashion. Barnes and Vardy, some good work again. Alisson made a really good save to get us out of that one. But another moment later, Salah gives the ball away in the middle of the park, and our fullbacks are so far up trying to get the equaliser that one ball over the top, it's Kabak with Barnes, one-on-one. Barnes does him for pace. Kabak doesn't look particularly fast, if I'm honest. Looks a steady defender, can do the basics, but that's what you get when you sign a player from Schalke, who are bottom of the German league. He's not a world beater, is he? Barnes does well, great finish, and 3-1, and it's just a bit of a jaw-dropping moment for most Liverpool fans. Just amazed at how a team that's held on to leads and has done that to so many teams in the past, grabbed a win from a draw or a potential defeat with minutes to go. These mentality monsters are suddenly crumbling and coming away with a 3-1 defeat in a game that they really dominated for large parts. So it was really disappointing. I think that was kind of the final straw for a lot of Liverpool fans. A lot of Liverpool fan channels, we're making all these excuses. Players are missing, or Henderson needs to be back in midfield, or we've had difficult matches and the home form and COVID, and at the end it was just, no, this is now a team that's not playing anywhere near the level that they can. Something was clearly going wrong, whether there's internal beef. They had a week off before this game as well. Between that and the City game, it wasn't like they'd have a game 3 days before, so they had a long time to prepare for this game. Leicester have played the same way for probably 5 years. They play long balls over the top all day long. And you need to be able to have a team that can deal with that. Henderson's not particularly fast, so looking at centre backs to bring in January, surely we need to go for pace. We haven't, and we've taken the cheap option, and it shows, doesn't it? We've not bought a world-class centre-back to fill in and potentially join up with Van Dijk when he's back from injury. So, as I said, every defender we have looks better next to Van Dijk. But as you say, as soon as you take Van Dijk out of that team, any combination of defenders, all right, we've had about 16 combinations this season, but even next year, if Van Dijk has an injury, even if it's for a week or 2 weeks, you're back to a Gomez and a Matip, a Gomez and a Kabak. All right, Fabinho can drop in there and do a good job. But yeah, for me, we still needed that big top centre-back signing to compete with Manchester City, which we haven't got. So yeah, we'll see what happens in the summer. Obviously, after my last video, I didn't really think we'd be looking at another centre-back in the summer unless probably 2 went out, if not 3. So yeah, watch this space on that one. Luckily enough, I didn't do a video straight after that one because it would have been a bit doom and gloom. I did hold on to the Red Bull Leipzig match, which was played last night, and get a much more positive performance and result for the Reds. Played over in the Puskás Arena in Hungary. Technically it's the away game, but has to be played at a neutral venue due to the German COVID restrictions. So obviously Liverpool, being from England, couldn't travel into Germany to play a match due to fears they could bring in a different strain of the virus. So played over in Hungary. Looked like a fantastic stadium from what I saw on BT Sport. Really modern, really new, really nice. Obviously before the game, the news dropped that Upamecano, Red Bull Leipzig's probably most kind of famous centre-back that they've got. He's still a young lad, but he's quite well known. He will be joining Bayern Munich at the end of the season, which, yeah, just kind of makes a mockery of German football, doesn't it? Bayern always sweeping up all the kind of quality from any kind of challenger. Leipzig obviously sitting second in the Bundesliga at the moment, but anytime any club gets near them, back in the day it was Leverkusen who were the challengers. The likes of Zé Roberto and Ballack just jump ship to Bayern, and not only are you weakening your rivals, you're strengthening yourself. So disappointing to see that, but it's difficult. Pagano's a young lad. Obviously he's French, but he clearly speaks German and doesn't really fancy going to England or Spain or Italy to learn a new language again. If you get the opportunity to move up to a top team in the country you're already in, guaranteed to win league titles, guaranteed to get to Champions League semi-final pretty much every year. Bit of a no-brainer. But yeah, it just is. Bayern have won 9 league titles in a row. I think the record in England is for Premier League is 3 in a row. So it just shows you the level, the difference of challenge. Another player in the lineup for Leipzig that we all know is Golaski, who obviously used to play for us for about 4 years. I don't think he ever made an appearance in the first team, but yeah, he was second choice, third choice, and yeah, I'm pretty sure he knew John Ackberg, who is our goalkeeper coach, because they had a good chat after the game as well. So it's good to see him, and he's doing really, really well. He's a massive goalkeeper, and he had a good game. Obviously, he's Hungarian as well, so it was being played in his home country, which was a little bit more special for him. So into the game itself, Leipzig had an early chance. They hit the post fairly early on, really, really unlucky. We had a chance, and I noticed that the style of play that we went for was slightly different, which I preferred. Much more direct, and a little bit out of a page out of Leicester's book, just using Mane and Salah on the break over the top, and getting in behind the defence rather than the 30 passes of slow build up when 11 players can then get behind the ball. Counter attack. Let Leipzig come and have a go and break quickly. You've got the likes of Salah and Mane breaking, Firmino dropping in the hole, and it looked much better. So fingers crossed we'll continue in that vein. Salah was through on goal pretty early on. Did have a chance to chip it over Golaski, but really should have squared it to Mane for pretty much an open goal if he gets the pass right. So that was a bit disappointing. 0-0, obviously the score at half time. Robertson did have a good chance as well, where he basically picked the ball up just into the Leipzig half, got his head up, noticed Golaski was off his line, had a good try at his Xabi Alonso special, but yeah, just over the bar. So it was a very good effort. But yeah, 0-0 at half time. Looking at the game, the commentators are saying, Klopp will be happy. Good performance so far, but yeah, 0-0. It doesn't matter if you've had a good game or if you haven't. If the score's 0-0, everybody, it's even. It doesn't matter what you've done. You don't get any points or goals for playing well. So for me, jury was still out. It looked okay, but the next goal was going to decide who was playing better, of course. So after that, Mane, just before the half time even, Mane did have a chance, which I forgot to mention. The ball did just go out of play, but he cut it back to Firmino, which we all thought was 1-0 just before the half time whistle. But yeah, looking at it, it was very, very tight. I know they have goal line technology for the goal line. I don't think they have it for goal kicks and corners, or if the ball's gone out of play, etc. It did look like it had probably just gone out. But when you zoom into these crazy VARs and the goal line technology, if 1% of the ball is in, it counts. So for me, it's a shame that we can't do that on that one, because that could have been a goal as well. But yeah, into the second half, and Nkunku had a really good chance. Again, it was the ball over the top where our centre-back pairing, currently Henderson and Kabak, is just too slow. Nkunku is way too quick for Henderson. Henderson gets on the wrong side, but Alisson comes out well, spreads himself and makes a good save. Up the other end, Sabitzer, who's the Leipzig captain, who I think did a job on Spurs in last season's competition. Pretty sure he's got a couple of goals against them in that tie. He passed it straight to Salah, which was a strange one. It's nice to see an opposition team make a mistake that gives us a goal rather than the other way around. So that was a nice change. And Salah, one-on-one, you're screaming, please put it away, and he does. Really, really good finish. Gives him the eyes, puts it in the bottom right-hand corner, which was great. Pretty much 4 or 5 minutes after that, very similar. A goal to make it 2-0. Leipzig were all over the place at the back. Some early bookings as well didn't help for them. And Upamecano did not have a good game, if we're being honest. So Jones, good ball over the top again to Mane. The Leipzig defender completely misses the ball, bounces through. Mane's one-on-one, and again, similar to Salah, puts it away coolly for a goal. Mane's struggled lately for goals, so it was good to see him get a goal, because I'd imagine his confidence with every game that passes by. Salah's scoring goals and he isn't. Even if we're not winning games, for a striker you need to score goals to keep that level up. So good to see him get a goal in the Champions League. And other than that, really, that Jones had a fantastic game. We made a couple of subs. We brought on Shaqiri and Chamberlain for Thiago and Firmino. It did go a bit more defensive after that. Leipzig did come into the game a little bit more once we made those changes. But it just shows you, you see those two on the sideline and you think Curtis Jones is going to be the one to come off. But no, made that mistake last time against City when he was having a good game, brought him off, and we collapsed. So kept Jones on, and he was brilliant. I think he's 20 years old. He's superb, such a good player. Of course, you can't put him in every week. Yeah, you got to take him in, take him out. He's a young lad, but what a player we've got on our hands there for free. So I can't wait to see more of him. Right at the end, we're clinging on for 2-0. We're thinking, okay, fantastic result if we get away with this. 3-0 would be dreamland, but 2-0 is fantastic. And, you just don't want Leipzig to score to get any kind of, hand back on the game. I remember the Roma match back at Anfield, I think it was 2018 Champions League, when we were 5-0 up. And then, right at the end, Roma got 2 goals, and suddenly that seed of doubt is planted. Suddenly the momentum swings back in their favour. On this occasion we managed to hold out just. Hwang came on for Leipzig, who we all know well from our match with Salzburg last year. He was up front, of course, with Minamino and Haaland in that group stage game last season. Transferred to the other Red Bull now, came on and had a really, really good chance. He did score against us at Anfield. He was the one that put Van Dijk on his backside and curled a fantastic goal in Anfield. But not to be this time. Got the better of Henderson. Again, too slow. Any kind of turn of pace from Henderson, you're gonna do him. And he should score. He really should have scored. So we were very lucky. A better team would have scored at least 1 last night, if not 2. So I think the result does flatter us a tad. We did play well. But Leipzig had a lot of chances, and there was a lot of let-offs for Liverpool last night. So second leg to come in 3 weeks' time. It possibly could be at the same venue for the exact same reason, because although Germany is the country with the restrictions, Leipzig, if they were to travel to Anfield for the away leg for them, they would then have to isolate upon their return to Germany. So again, with Bundesliga matches, they can't afford to isolate for 10 days, and then they'd have to train before a match. So you're more like looking at 2 weeks in terms of being ready for another local match, another Bundesliga game. So that's not going to happen. So potentially we could play in the exact same venue in Hungary. I'm not sure if there's any other alternatives, any other countries in Europe that are happy. And if we've already had a successful game in that match in that venue already, I don't really have an issue with playing it again in the same place. The only odd thing would be the away goals, wouldn't it? Because for the first match we get in 2 away goals, and then if Leipzig score in the other game at the same venue, suddenly their goals are counting for away goals. It's very, very odd. It's a strange one. Obviously, last year the Champions League format changed slightly, where they have one-off games. I think that might have been at the quarter-final stage where they brought that in, just one-off game in a neutral venue to decide it. But because some countries can host games, i.e. Barcelona v PSG last night, and some countries can't, then there's a kind of a weird mixture. So I think Chelsea potentially need to play Atletico at a venue in Romania. I believe Mönchengladbach as well. I've seen another German team playing against Man City will have a similar kind of outcome to the Liverpool tie. So it's very strange at the moment, football, but yeah, we'll bring that one on in a few weeks' time. So looking forward then, obviously there's been shouts before last night's game that Klopp needed a rest, rumours he was looking to quit. Favourite in the betting for the next Premier League manager to go, which is quite crazy, isn't it? Obviously we've been on a terrible run. We still need to put it right. We're still off the back of 3 straight Premier League defeats. So yeah, the next game is huge, isn't it? Home to Everton in the derby, where all the problems kind of began, as I mentioned in previous video, with the injuries to Van Dijk and Thiago in that game as well. So yeah, it'd be great to see if we can transfer this really positive result in Europe, as poor as Leipzig were, into the league form, because Everton are currently not flying either. All right, league position-wise, yes, they're doing very well. But in terms of their last games, in the Premier League at least, they drew with Leicester at home, they've lost to Newcastle at home, they beat Leeds away, they got a good 3-3 draw with Man United at Old Trafford, and they've just lost at home to Fulham 2-0. So coming off the back of a really, really poor result for them. They did beat Spurs 5-4 in the cup game as well, but yeah, they're not. They're a very inconsistent, or consistently inconsistent, I should say, Ancelotti's side. So always a danger. Always get up for the big game, the Merseyside derby, don't they? So form kind of goes out the window at this point, which probably is a good thing for both teams. Obviously, we're off the back of 3 straight defeats in the Prem. We did win 2 before that horrible run away at Spurs and West Ham, but yeah, Brighton, City and Leicester now 3 defeats in a row. So really, we're starting to slip. We're now down to 6th in the league, which is not where we want to be, is it? Really, we need to go on a little run now. I've had a look at the fixtures remaining for this season. Obviously, we're out the cups, so it's only Champions League and the Premier League to focus on. Got the likes of Sheffield United, Newcastle, Palace, Fulham coming up. So, winnable games as much as Brighton and Burnley and Newcastle and West Brom were as well. Hopefully we can start getting some wins together and propel ourselves back into that top 4 at least. Second and third would be great, but you don't get any more prizes than you do for 4th these days, the way the qualification for the Champions League works now. So yeah, all right, it'd be disappointing to come 4th at the start of the season, but right now I would take 4th because we're not going to win the league and there's no prizes for 2nd. So for me, 4th would be a good. If we can get to the quarterfinals of the Champions League, possibly to the semi-finals without getting too far ahead of ourselves, that would be probably a good end to this season, and we can just start fresh again next year. All the injuries back after potentially the European Championships, and look to start again. Try and reclaim, I should say, our Premier League trophy. Possibly bring in 1 or 2 transfers. There might be some ins and outs over the summer, which would be one to keep an eye on. But yeah, other than that, I just wanted to do a quick drop. I've got a new website, thesouthernscouser.com. On there will be appearing some blogs and bits and pieces. I'll be doing some interesting pieces on there, so keep an eye out for that. And I've also got a Twitter. The handle is @thesouthscouse, so have a look at that as well. That's all been set up recently. So yeah, I'll see you guys soon. Hopefully a good result in the Merseyside derby, and we'll see you soon. Thanks for watching the Southern Scouser.